Hello everyone, this is Michelle Wedertz and I'm here with you today on the Hip Kit channel to share with you a process video on completing a 6x12 PL style page. I say PL style because it's not a traditional Project Life page. It's a pocket page that I slip into my albums. That way I can fit in more photos. I kind of do like a mix of PL traditional and that is what I'm going to share with you today. So I am working with some exclusives today that you can find in the kits. These ones I've chosen to use today are from the October kits. They are going to be the exclusive journaling cards that come in the PL kit, as well as some beautiful orangey alphas that you are going to see momentarily, which come actually in the main scrapbook kit. So as I said before, I'm working with a 6x12 page. Now, if you can see, underneath my little tray of goodies, I actually have my pocket page layered right on top of my traditional layout that goes in order with this pocket page. So you'll see in my album, this page is going to be placed right next to my traditional layout. And the reason why I'm including it here as I'm working along with it is because when I look into my album, I'm going to see this PL page layered on top of my regular 9x12 layout. And I'm going to want to make sure that what you're seeing on the pocket page is going to look okay up against the traditional layout that is going to be peeking out from under here. So as you can see, one of the things I am implementing in this layout is a see-through pocket page. And what I fill that page with were some of the die cuts from the flower die cuts that are included in the kits. And now you can see as I flip the page over to the back side of the 6x12, you can see the back of those flowers. Now, that does not bother me to see something from the back view. That's just a personal preference. Later on in the video, I'm going to show you how I'm going to kind of minimize that plain look of that just white cardstock from the back of the flowers. So moving along, here I went ahead and decided I wanted to use this journaling card that was completely covered with pattern, and I had no space to put my journaling. So what I did was I used the stamp that's included in the PL kit, and it's a label, a basic label. So I went ahead and stamped that on a piece of white cardstock. And then before I cut it out completely, I went and ran it through my typewriter. So now I'm going to go ahead and figure out what I want to do with that bottom PL card. Now, one of the things I like about that big white blank space on that 3x4 card is that I instantly have room for some journaling and a big title. And to make the big title, I'm going to go ahead and use some of the exclusive orangey. I say orangey because it's not like a bright orange. It's kind of like a peachy orange alpha set that comes in the main scrapbook kit. Now, as you can see here, I ended up having to improvise in order to fit these alphas on that little the 4-inch width of the card. So what I went ahead and did is I replaced the big L's with little L's because I wanted to use that font. I really liked it, but I also needed to fit it in there. So I thought that using those L's, which are actually the uppercase I's, it would still work out, and I like that. So I went ahead and I did all my stitching. I went ahead and stitched down the little journaling tag I had on that first card, and then I stitched down the hello on the Hello Scarlet. I didn't go ahead and stitch down the actual scarlet because I used the tiny foam alphas, and foam is one of the two things that I never ever run through my sewing machine. Foam alphas are one of them, and wood veneer. I've broken a few pieces of wood veneer, so I just stopped doing that altogether. So because when I'm running my letters through the machine, I very rarely actually backstitch to lock in the stitch. So what I did instead was I just, back the back of the card with washi tape over the ends of my sewing lines. That way the thread doesn't unravel as I'm handling the card. So now I had the first side, the basic set. So now I've turned my pocket page over and I'm going to do the back side of the page. Now I've already went and picked out my cards, and I use the color scheme on the traditional layout to kind of guide my choices for the colors on the pocket page, because I want it to, I don't necessarily need it to be matchy-matchy, but I want it to go ahead and be cohesive in the color and also in the elements that I use. So I've kind of a little unsure here at this point exactly what I want to do with this purple journaling card. I really like the idea of using one of these 2x2 squares that come in the little stacks from Pink Paisley, because I've already got one of them on the traditional page. You can see it, it's blue, it's got a butterfly in it. That's also from this stack, and I thought, well, that would be one way that I can, move these elements from that page onto the pocket page and make it, more cohesive. But I'm just not liking it. I don't know. I think it was just like the white card was just a little too much white on it, and I've already got a lot of that going on in my page, and then the traditional layout also has a lot of white space on it. So what I'm going to end up doing is I'm just going to go ahead and go with my original idea, which I had in my head to begin with, and that was just to use that space for a big title to complement my journaling. So I'm going to this particular page is an extension of the traditional layout, meaning that I am using the photos from the same exact event, which was a trip that we took up to the Sequoias to see the Trail of the 100 Giants. So I'm really gonna, I think that's what swayed me not to use the little 2x2 squares on it, because I really felt like I needed a big title that said, hey, this is what happened, this was the event. So that was my thinking as for why I didn't use those little square paper pads. Now I already went ahead into my journaling on that left bottom card, and on the bottom of this really pretty card is hashtag fall photo, I think, but this isn't in the fall, this is actually from July. So I went ahead and cut out a little tag that has a phrase on it that came from a piece of pattern paper in the scrapbook kit. And I actually have that several of those on the traditional layout. So, that is another way that you can pull things together so that a layout, a 2-page spread like this is cohesive. So that is my original idea for this card. Now, I also, am putting these small alphas here, and I'm using the multicolored side because the package that's in the PL kit comes with the soft kind of like pinkish color alpha, and then on the back side you get this multicolor alpha. And because on the traditional layout I have Alora's name spelled out in the colorful alphas, I went ahead and used that here. You can see too that I use my ruler. Using a ruler to put your alphas on and then move it around is a really super easy way to find your placement without actually having to stick it down on your papers. And just so you know, if you are sticking something down on these Project Life cards, be careful because the ink will lift. So these stickers, the foam stickers, were pretty sticky, and as I was gently trying to move them around, I could see that the ink was picking up a little bit off of the card. So that's just something to be aware of when you are making a title on those, or any sticker in general. The ink can pull off. So at this point, I am kind of thinking I'm done and trying to figure out exactly, when I say done, I mean like with the major. I've got my journaling, I've got a title, I've got all my cards and photo placement going off, and I'm trying to decide exactly what kind of embellishments would I want to use. Because I use these puffy stickers on the other page, I wanted to use them, but at this point, it's just I'm not finding anything that I want. And you can see that I'm a little undecisive at this point on my project, and it's because this card on the bottom is kind of driving me mad because I messed it up when I cut the edge of the little word phrase. I cut it off crooked, so that was bothering me enough that I needed to pull it off, and then I messed things up a little bit, so I'm going to improvise and just change up my card um, a little bit here. That made me kind of sad because I liked it so much. But oh well, that's what happens. So what I'm going to end up doing and what I'm envisioning in my head is just cutting like a triangle of this pattern paper to cover the bottom part of that card. So I just use a piece of pattern paper that I used on the other page. You can see it right there in the top right corner. And that's another good way to bring elements across the page. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this down and then kind of fiddle with it a little bit because I think it looks a little naked. It looks just like I don't have enough detail. And because of where I've got my journaling, I really can't put some other big embellishment right there. It's gonna look too busy along with that pattern paper. So what I did is I pulled out a sticker strip from the sticker book. It's also from Pink Paisley, and I'm going to go ahead and just kind of border that along there and make that just a little bit more interesting. So now I'm going to address the see-through pocket. So like I said earlier, it doesn't really bother me too much if I have the back side of something facing on the back side of a pocket page. But I'm going to kind of blunt that effect by putting a mix of sequins in the pocket along with those floral die cuts, because that will kind of, it won't make the back end of the die cut, which is just bright white. It'll kind of mute that a little bit, so, and it won't stick out like a sore thumb when I flip the page and look at the other side. I went ahead and I am pulling these from my stash. I do have a small assortment of sequins that I keep on hand for things like this, and I actually used a mix that had some red and pinks, and I thought it looked nice, and that's the color that I chose because it kind of went along with the other colors. I initially was going to do yellow, but I didn't really have too much yellow on the traditional layout, and I just didn't feel like introducing that as a major color. So I went ahead and did this other mix. Another option could have been something neutrally, like like a gold sequin. That would have worked as well. But I ended up going with this colorful mix. So here I am finished. I did at the end go in and attach a Avery label to the front of the page, the pocket page. That way I could kind of date, this section in my daughter's album, which was July. And that's it. I just want to say thank you for watching and being patient with me as I went through a few of the details in my process. Thanks a lot.